Kids, Coach Chris here. Obviously, like Jesse's probably already introduced in some of these videos, with coronavirus going around and everyone just trying to stay safe, it's better that you stay at home. But we want to give you some things that you can work on while you're at home so you don't lose anything that we've been working on. Okay, and the big thing I want to talk about mainly is shadow boxing. It's not a whole lot of drills I can give you specifically for the MMA class. A lot of things rely on using a partner. Shadow boxing is a great drill to keep yourself sharp, to keep your shoulders fluid, so you're not so robotic in your motions. So please, whenever you get a chance, shadow box. If you're playing video games or whatever, find that moment in between, loading times or something like that, just to get up and do like a minute of shadow boxing if you can. Anyway, I just want to kind of talk about proper form, things that we can look for. If you've got a mirror at home, that's perfect. You can see what your hands are doing. You can see that you're keeping your hands up, that you're moving correctly, see where you're punching. If not, a lot of you guys have iPads or phones that you can record yourself on. I highly recommend that you do so you can actually see what your form looks like. It's one thing to do it, it's another thing to actually see what it looks like when you do it. You might realize, oh, that's not what I want it to look like at all. Alright, so a couple of basics I want to go over. One, let's keep those hands up. Alright, do as I say, not as I do. You'll see me in sparring and stuff, drop my hands down low. I want you keeping your hands up for shadow boxing. Even when I shadow box, I keep my hands up at all times, okay? So I'll do a lot of this in just orthodox stance, since most of you guys are orthodox. If you're southpaw, obviously, you just flip everything that I'm doing here, okay? So you're gonna have your hands up like this. The big thing is I wanna visualize what I would actually do if I was sparring as well, okay? So a couple things I don't wanna do, okay? One, don't just sit there and throw your combinations without moving your feet like this, all right? This isn't gonna help me when I'm going into sparring or anything like that. One, I need to move while I'm doing this, okay? So I want little short chopping steps with the ball of my feet. I don't really want to put too much weight down on my heels. So as I'm moving around, I want to be able to move fluidly as I'm doing it. If I'm just throwing combinations like this, if I'm sparring with a partner, he's already moved out. I'll move back in, hit me, he moves back out, and every time I throw a combination, I'm just stuck in the same spot, not hitting him, okay? You have to move with him, okay? So I have to visualize an opponent coming in and out. Got to visualize stepping forward with my combination and moving back out. Another thing that I want to focus on is circling. All right, it's not just staying in one place or just moving back and forth like this. I want to be able to circle. Okay, just like how I would if you're fighting. Remember, you're moving the foot in the direction that you're going in. You want to move that foot first. That means I'm actually going to push off this foot if I'm moving left. Okay, so my left foot moves first, I'm pushing off my right. Okay, if I'm moving over here, I'm pushing off my left foot, but my right foot moves first. Okay, I want to circle a lot. You never want to do too many things where you're backing up. You never know what's behind you. Okay, so as you're moving around, you want to be able to circle, get yourself out of trouble while you're throwing these combinations. And again, like we talked about, think of the combinations, think of the individual punches or kicks, knees, elbows, whatever thrown. Think of those like words in a sentence. I want to put together good sentences that make sense. Okay? I don't want to do anything that's going to require too much space in between. You're not going to see a whole lot where I'm going to throw a cross, bring it all the way back, and then throw another cross. It's not a fluid combination. If I throw that cross, though, I'm already cocked over on my left hip over here to bring that left hand around for that hook. So that would be like a sentence that makes sense as we're talking about it. So boom, boom. That's fluid. It makes sense. Not boom, boom. Okay? Another thing I want to address with shadow boxing is make sure that you're visualizing all the different targets. Don't just punch up here. If I'm punching him in the head the whole time, what's he doing? He's blocking, he's moving his head around. So I need to go body, head, body, head. You want to be able to mix that up. So lots of moving around. Play around with the different punches, the different kicks, the different knees and elbows. See what's fluid, see what fits, see what feels right. All right? Alright, now we're going to isolate an individual technique. This might be fun for you guys to practice. We're talking about the Superman jab and the Superman punch. Okay, it's going to be the same principle on both of them. It just depends which hand you're using, whether it's the lead one or the rear one. I know some of you guys are struggling with it. It's just a couple motions down. It just takes a long time to just practice. And once you get that motion down, it's like riding a bicycle. You got it, you own it, you're all set. Okay, I'll do it first coming forward for you and then off to the side so you get to actually see those motions. But essentially what I'm doing here, okay, I'm going to get my guard up. I'm going to start with the Superman jab first. So that's my lead hand here. Okay, I am going to lift my leg up like I'm throwing a knee strike. Okay, just boom, bringing that right up. Now as I do that, okay, I'm going to cock my left shoulder back. So whichever hand I'm punching with, that's the shoulder I'm going to come back with this. So it's like I'm throwing a knee and pulling that shoulder. Throwing the knee, pulling that shoulder both at the same time. The last step of that really is, as I propel myself forward and I launch that hand in, I'm going to kick this leg out, but this leg right here, I'm going to hop forward with that. Cover some distance, okay? With Superman jab, you're not looking for a whole lot of distance here. You're looking more of the element of surprise. I want to fake him out like he's thinking about like an inside leg kick or maybe a front kick, and then just pop forward on that. So don't try to leap across the living rooms when you're throwing the Superman jab out there. It's just supposed to be quick, boom, surprising, all right? So again, I'm here. I'm going to fake that knee out and pull that shoulder back and push off this foot. As I push off that foot, I'm going to unleash my punch forward, so my shoulder comes forward and my left leg kicks back. Okay, so my hips and my shoulders doing two opposite motions here. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of them for you. See if we can get that motion down. Okay, so I'm here, pop, just like that. That's all it is. See how I didn't leap all the way across here? Just a quick little pop. All right, you mix this in with a couple inside leg kicks to them. They expect that inside leg kick and then pop. One of the cleanest strikes I land when I'm sparring. I'm going to show a couple of them from this angle so you can see that motion again. Again, the knee comes up, the shoulder comes back. I leap off this foot and extend that forward. So, pop, pop. One more time. Pop. All right. Rear Superman punch is essentially the same thing. All right. Now I'm just doing it with the backhand, and I'm going to cover a little bit more distance on there. So I want to really exaggerate that motion. I bring that knee up, pull that shoulder back. I'm leaping off that front foot, and I'm just coming forward with that shoulder as my other leg kicks back, okay? So again, each time I do this, when I cock it, my hips turn over, my shoulders come back, and then as I unleash it, my shoulders come forward and my hip comes back, okay? So this time I'm gonna get a little bit more distance on the rear Superman punch. Let's get a couple from this angle. And essentially that's it. Once you get that initial motion down, that's everything. All right, you unlock that, the rest of it's easy. You just punch it. That's really all it is, kicking out your leg while you're punching. But you just gotta get that motion down between the hips and the shoulders, the relation between them, and then how I can propel myself forward with that motion. Hi, so we're gonna isolate another technique while we're on this whole leave of absence that you can practice at home. We briefly talked about this before, about what to do when you're spinning through something. Like if I miss a round kick, you know, what am I going to do? Am I just going to spin through with it? Am I going to chop the leg down? Spinning back fist works most of the time, and there's really no bad thing to come from throwing that back fist out there. So basically I want to take that momentum, okay, and I want to just give me something else. So if he does decide to close the distance after I miss that kick, he's got that chance of running right into my back fist here, okay? You see this technique used in lots of different cage fights. It's put people out before. So just give him that little extra something when he thinks the technique's over, when he thinks it's safe to close that distance on it. All I'm gonna do is just a really basic jab, cross, round kick combo. But I'm gonna take that momentum and I'm gonna give it a little extra something on the end of it. So if he moves out of the way of that round kick, all right, and he thinks he's safe now from the danger, as he goes to close that distance, boom, he's running right into that spinning back fist. And that's all it is really, it's just putting out that back fist as I'm coming around with that momentum, okay? So, all that it's gonna be is just a jab, cross, I'm gonna step out on that cross, and then I'm gonna throw my round kick, I'm gonna miss, and then throw that back fist in there. Pop, pop, boom, and then just coming around with that, okay? I'm basically just throwing this out. You can throw it as a hammer fist, where you're hitting more like this, or you can throw those knuckles out where you're coming around with those knuckles. Personally, I like the hammer fist version. The only reason why is the top of your hand's got soft little bones there, not a lot of meat behind it. So if you don't land perfectly with those knuckles, and let's face it, I'm not looking to land perfectly on this. This is almost like a desperate maneuver just in case he's closing that distance. I don't know what he's doing at this point. I just know if he does close that distance, he's gonna run into something. So I prefer to have my hand like this. He either runs into my forearm, my wrist bone, or the bottom here. If it's like this, it's great if it connects with your knuckles, or it's not too bad if it connects with your wrist, but if you just hit with this part of your hand right there, it's gonna hurt, okay? So, again, pop, pop, throws the round kick, comes around with that spinning back fist. Do it again from this angle, pop, pop, boom, and coming back around here like that. Do a couple angles here, jab, cross, round kick, spinning back fist. Again, Jab, cross, round kick, spinning back. And there it is.